Hey everyone, it's 10:15 here on the East Coast. It is December 6th, 2018. We're doing something we haven't done before. We're actually going to be doing reactions to the official nominations of the 2019 Golden Globes. So we are rolling on with our award show coverage here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. Joining me as always, we have Ashley.
Hello.
And of course, just limited time magic for the award season. We have AJ.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone, whether you're live or an archive right now. Thank you for joining us tonight. We got a lot to talk about, and it literally went down earlier this morning. As a matter of fact, it was going on while I was at work, so I finally got a chance to look at it, and I looked at it for like 2 seconds. So if I'm not as up to date as I normally would be, my apologies for that. You see me in picture here. Welcome, Cassie. Welcome, everyone, to live chat. So, obviously, you know that we are normally really, downplaying the television awards. So we're going to get to those first.
Yeah.
Ashley, that's all you. We'll just take it.
I mean, overall, I'd say somewhat predictable. It's hard to tell whether there's any sort of surprises sort of really in here. I think it's the first time Alex Borstein's got recognised, though, for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, because I don't think she was nominated last year. I should know, because I've got literally the cheat sheet from last year, whatever. The one that got the most was Assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story, because it got Best Supporting Actor and Actress, along with Best Actor, and then Best TV miniseries. Sharp Objects also had quite a few, similar with miniseries and TV film, and Amy Adams and Patricia Clarkson's stuff. Tandy Newton for Westworld's probably an obvious for supporting actress. Ben Whishaw for Very English Scandal. I know about that because it's a pretty big moment in British history, that one. When a member of Parliament tried to kill his gay lover because scandals.
Oh, wow.
It's a very good adaptation of it as well from Russell T Davies, who did, I guess, the first reboot of Doctor Who before it went to the other writers. Hugh Grant as well, getting in for Best Actor. Going up against a pretty good list, though, in Cumberbatch for Patrick Melrose, Daniel Bruhl for Alienist, Antonio Banderas for Picasso, and Daniel Cris for the... I can't remember the name of the guy that killed Gianni Versace, but him. Glow did get in for Best Actress for Alison Brie in the obviously musical comedy section. Also, Deborah Messing for Will and Grace. Am I right in that Will and Grace hasn't won anything ever?
I think that's what we determined last year.
Yeah, we talked about that last year.
Trend will probably continue. The really interesting one in Best Actor for Musical and Comedy, it's a pretty strong list, considering you got Bill Hader, Donald Glover, Michael Douglas, Jim Carrey, and Sacha Baron Cohen. It actually did get some recognition for Who Is America, which I guess sort of does make sense. Unsurprisingly, Elizabeth Moss and Sandra Oh and Julia Roberts and Katrina Balfe and Kerry Russell make it in for Actress Drama. In Actor Drama, screw everybody else. I'm saying this now, and I'm, spoilers for next month. This had better go to Richard Madden for Bodyguard. Because Bodyguard is the best 6-hour movie you never knew you wanted. I think it's on Netflix now, at least internationally. You try and catch it if you have. It is ridiculous. It did get into TV drama, which means I'm split because I really like Killing Eve as well. In terms of emissions, I can't remember the name of the actress. If I should probably have a quick look to get her name. The actress that plays the Russian assassin woman, Jodie Comer, who plays Villanelle. I'm amazed that she got snubbed for supporting actress, because in essence, the series really doesn't work without having Sandra Oh as a great foil to Jodie Comer and her assassin, and vice versa. I mean, and the way it left on a cliffhanger for the second series, which is in production right now, I can't wait for the second one. And I'm so pissed. It's technically a BBC America show, so it's technically funded by the BBC, but America got it 6 months before us. Damn it. Normally we get our stuff first, but so be it. But yeah, a sort of interesting year, I'd say, overall. Some of which were shows that I've never even heard of. Thanks, Netflix, and other stations that don't broadcast their stuff over here. Namely, I completely forgot the Jim Carrey series actually existed, because it hasn't even come out over here that I'm aware of. Anyway, it's probably on Netflix. You know, all the stuff you have on television over there gets picked up by Netflix for international distribution, or Amazon Video, or whatever. So, but yeah, she'll be an interesting one to predict. And it's the only hope I actually have of winning a subsection of a category. Maybe.
We shall see. Like, obviously, we don't have any stake in television categories. It's all Ashley this time around. So, Smirky Boy says, hey, guys, Amy Adams and Regina King will be competing twice against each other. It's true. And welcome AA Vlogs for making it to a live show again. Thank you for doing so. So, is there any other things you want to say about television before we move forward?
Well, at the very last minute, the show finally got 2 hosts.
I didn't see that yet, actually. Yeah. Oh, no.
Sandra Oh and Andy Samberg.
Huh.
I mean, that's better than the Oscars host, right?
Don't even get me started on that garbage. We're going to be live for that show. Don't forget that.
To be honest, after the abject failure that Fallon sort of was for the past 2 years, I'm willing to sort of give it to a comedian to actually see if it can pump life into it. If it fails, so be it.
Well, if you actually had somebody that was funny doing it, that'd be one thing, but you're not, so.
Well, the problem is it was either going to be him or Tiffany Haddish, so, you know, pick your poison.
Next thing you know, you're going to tell me Dan Whitney's going to be hosting the Golden Globes. And comedy for me is still comedy. All right.
I was just questioning if he's even still relevant. I don't think I've heard his name since God knows when.
You haven't heard no, probably not. I mean, he's doing those Prilosec commercials now where he's got like 500 o'clock shadow and it's grayer than my hair is right now.
What if we were really meta and bring in Ben Bradley, except Tom Hanks playing Ben Bradley hosting? He just has to stay in character for the entire 3 hours.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting Oscar show for all the wrong reasons this year. I'm not excited about this.
Awards,
obviously. So, yeah, interesting. Sandra Oh hosting the Globes. Very interesting.
So I don't know if did you want to go in like a particular order or what?
It doesn't matter either way. I mean, I glanced at the actual nominations this morning, like literally this morning. I like in between guests. So needless to say, I didn't really have time to drink it all in. I did see a couple of omissions that kind of make my predictions look bad. But like you said before we got online, it's one of those things that we don't know how much. Every year we say this. We don't know how much the Globes actually has in the race. Sometimes we're quick to dismiss it. Sometimes this is when things start that we weren't expecting. Or we're expecting, we just kind of like, push to the side a little bit.
But then they've also gone for stuff that proves to be totally out of left field that doesn't come into anything ever again. So there's probably a couple of those here.
Hello, Dolly.
Can I mention how happy I am that Deadpool didn't get nominated for anything?
I forgot.
It might be in People's Choice has already happened. Does Critics' Choice do action movie? Because it could be in there, maybe.
I think Critics' Choice changes their categories every year. It's hard to tell anymore.
Even though we're getting way ahead of ourselves, I really think it's nice to see that we kind of almost completely nailed animated.
Almost.
Yeah.
One glaring omission, but obviously I'm not paying attention as much as I am this year. That's why this year's a little more interesting for me, because most of the stuff that's came out, I haven't seen it. So it's like I'm going in like AJ
The
does.
moral of the story is Owen wins this year despite having not seen a bloody thing.
I mean, there's like, you look at the line of what's nominated. I mean, I've seen 1, 2, 3. I've seen 3 movies that are nominated multiple times for a few things. Not much, but we'll get there. I'll get more than that. I'll have to look at it in a minute. But yeah, let's go into this right now, shall we? Oh, if you blink, you'll see the Speaking Bluntly is being uploaded right now. So yeah. I have to make a thumbnail for it, but it's okay. I'll do it in a bit. So we're gonna go into, like, we really don't have anything more we can say about television before we like push it under the carpet.
Let's get to the stuff that most of the people are here for.
I did see though that, I mean, obviously I'm not happy that Mandy Moore missed again. They completely neglected This Is Us this year, and apparently they didn't do anything with Maniac either.
Yeah, that was weird.
A lot of people thought that was going to happen.
It wasn't that much. I'm trying to see if I've got the. Hang on, I need to go because I actually I did the stupid thing and actually downloaded the press release. So that gives me a breakdown as to what happened in terms of the categories. Actually, this year's top network was FX. That's mainly because the American Crime Story stuff obviously took the most nominations.
Right.
HBO and Amazon had 9, Netflix had 8, and then Showtime had 6. Well, it is worth noting, no ABC. No ABC shows got nominated. There's NBC and CBS and there's NBC and CBS and FX, which is obviously Fox related. So, but yeah, no, nothing ABC related.
Yeah, the total absence of Modern Family made me thinking, am I looking at the right thing?
They didn't give a shit about Modern Family this year.
I know it's time has passed, but it feels weird looking at a Golden Globes list that doesn't include the words Downton Abbey and Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Well, but it is worth noting as well, because I forgot about this. They just announced that there's going to be I can't remember who it's in honor of, but it's, they have the Cecil B. DeMille Award, which is, basically the Lifetime Achievement.
Yeah.
They're doing one specifically for TV. So they're going to award some. Then it's not just going to be a movie star; it's actually going to be sort of a TV star as well. That they're going to honor. That's all we sort of. They said it's going to be announced in the upcoming days, so probably next week. I'm guessing as to who is going to be the recipient of that, as well as the Cecil B. DeMille movie one.
Come on, Dick Van Dyke. Perfect timing.
What, he wins both?
I'm okay with that. Smurfy Boy says first man might be dead in the water now. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched just yet. Cassie asked if it's Modern Family's last season. AJ?
I think that's up in the air.
Okay.
But it like could be, but it also couldn't be.
And says Game of Thrones is on break until next year.
Yeah, that's why there isn't one this year. That's weird. So when we get to the Screen Actors Guild, there's going to be no Game of Thrones for stunts.
Come on, Outlander. Make my mom happy.
It will probably be something to do with Walking Dead, more than likely.
Yeah, most likely. It's on its way out, too, so you never know.
Or possibly Bodyguard. Because some of the stunts in that are pretty ridiculous.
All right.
Anyway, that is actually all the TV done.
Good. Let's get into stuff I actually care about. So we're gonna go to movies now, and there's some pretty big surprises here.
An interesting place to start would probably be score.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Because I pretty much never really know what's going to show up here.
Yeah, same.
There's quite a few things here I would not have expected. Not that I'm unhappy. I'm just surprised.
There's one that jumps out at me immediately, but I haven't seen the movie, so I can't justify it.
To me, there is two that sort of jump out.
Why is Black Panther on this list?
That's the first one that jumped out to me. That was a score that I didn't You know it's a good score when you don't notice it.
Yeah, okay.
Because it just seems so natural. That and Isle of Dogs just felt like it naturally fit with the thing. Also, I didn't expect Quiet Place to get in here.
I'm kind of surprised, actually. I'm okay with it.
I feel Justin Hurwitz just got in because of his reputation.
I didn't see the movie. I can't say anything.
And Mary Poppins Returns is there because Mary Poppins Returns. Which really seems to be popular, but we'll get to that. It's an interesting mix, though.
Yeah, a lot of
no Tom York for Suspiria. Surprised me, because that is a rather pretty can't even think of the word. Engrossing little score. I don't know if there's anything else off the top of the head that I can think of that would fit with that. Yeah, probably just more hype for Isle of Dogs and Black Panther, though.
Yeah, the thing about the Black Panther score, though, is I've heard a lot of people saying they don't really remember it. But I remember when it first came out, they made a huge deal about how it was like...
Exactly.
It was sort of like odd to see that kind of movie, and it was like almost like a hip-hop type score. But I only really remember it sounding like that like once. Like that one scene towards the end when they're flying into Wakanda. Other than that, I don't know, but obviously the composer's the dude that works with Donald Glover most of the time, so obviously he's worthy of something.
The thing that I kept seeing when I was looking at it from a perspective of what may have been missed, what didn't get in that probably should have, is what Smurfy Boy brings up. Kind of surprised Beale Street didn't get a score nomination.
Do we know who did Beale Street's score? I'm assuming somebody does, but I don't off the top of my head.
I can find it.
No, I don't want the book. The book isn't going to have a score. Nicholas Brittle, who did the score for Vice, so he sort of double booked himself. Battle of the Sexes, Moonlight, 12 Years a Slave, or at least did some of the additional music. And also, although not doing the music for it, he produced both the short and the full version of Whiplash. With Damien Chazelle. So
interesting. Kind of surprised it didn't happen. But you got your normalcy when it comes to everybody. I mean, it makes sense that the names all pop up when you're looking at score. So it should be interesting to see. This could be an interesting battle. I'm glad again that they recognized Isle of Dogs too.
Well, Dave Swall's pretty much a given at this point, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd say so.
As we were talking about, also, it does usually help when you double up in the year, or sometimes triple up in some cases too.
Right.
So I don't imagine Bryce will have it's the kind of movie with like a standout score, but as long as he has something else in his resume that's on the radar, that'll probably help a little bit.
I'd say so.
Whoever it was we were talking about, that was the Beale Street composer, wasn't it? We were talking about.
It's weird. This year is sort of an off year for Desplat because all he's sort of really got is Isle of Dogs. The other films are Operation Finale, The Sisters Brothers, and Kursk. That's about it.
I'm guessing this is going to transition into song pretty much.
We'll go with that.
Fucking Dolly Parton.
There's something I'm a little surprised isn't here, but that's only because I just experienced it. I watched RBG earlier today, and during the end credits, there's a song called All Fight that Jennifer Hudson performs that's like baity as hell. I was half expecting it before these came out. But there's always at least one random one. Now there appears to be two or three.
Well, I heard a lot of acclaim for the Private War one, partially because it's Annie Lennox, but again because of the subject of the stuff. To be honest, Girl in the Movies is a surprise because I swear that got him for original song without anybody having seen the actual movie.
It being listed here is how I learned that was even a movie. I just assumed it was a TV thing.
I think they did it because Netflix is like, we need to tell them it's out tomorrow.
Yeah, because I would have
want you watching fucking Mowgli. We want you watching Dumpling. No G.
It's
but
weird
that Kendrick Lamar wins for all the stars, right?
It's a little weird that Boy Erased is here more than once, yet Kidman is not here for that.
Yeah, that was the one thing. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but that was one thing I was kind of surprised about too.
Is that our obviously A Star Is Born was a given? Is that pretty much our insight on song?
There's really nothing you can say. We don't really have any there's nothing to talk about really.
We're just small talking until we get to the big ones, I assume.
Pretty much.
I mean, obviously, there's also foreign and animated. I'm assuming most people are aware of the reason Roma's not in picture, which I actually had to look up before I learned.
Okay.
Because it's not American enough.
Apparently, they have a rule where if something's in foreign, they don't put it in picture. Just automatic, like it's a rule automatically.
Wow.
So that is like, so if people think this is a blow to Roma, no. It's literally just they have a rule. If they put it in foreign, they can't put it in picture.
Is it a blow to Roma if Shoplifters beats it, though?
Even despite that, the fact that Roma got in screenplay and director probably helps a lot.
True. Because I think Shoplifters and Roma are going to be like the two you're going to see in every list for nominations.
Shoplifters will probably put up a fight throughout the Critics Awards, but I'm sure in the big ones, Roma is going to be just fine.
Depends how much they want to really jump on the bandwagon for it. Because I think it's got more. I don't know if it's Rotten Tomatoes, but it's from what I've seen, it's got a lot more positive sort of stuff than Roma has. Because I think some people don't get Roma. Also, keep in mind that there is still that stigma that quite a lot of the people have with Netflix and not doing the actual sort of traditional theatrical release and then putting it on VOD, like Amazon do.
Yeah, it's weird. This movie that usually would be like this thing that you have to go to like the art house theaters for and all that, and it's like this sort of white whale of award season. It's literally going to be on Netflix a week from today. I mean, it's convenient, but as far as seeing it the way it should probably be seen, yeah.
It's okay, bro, guy. We were actually late starting anyway, so you haven't really.
That's why I still feel gutted for Annihilation. Because that's probably going to get forgotten about by the BAFTAs, even though it's a British film. Because it just got buried on Netflix.
Not to mention that, I mean, I suppose without Netflix, the movie wouldn't even exist, so we can't say it's thanks to them, but it's like...
Well, no, because if you remember from the storyline with that, Paramount just lost their bottle. Was it? I think it was Paramount, wasn't it? They lost their bottle with it. Like they did with Cloverfield Paradox, except for there was a reason with Cloverfield Paradox.
The direction I was going was, if Netflix did traditional releases from the very start, we could potentially have had Oscar winner Idris Elba by now.
Hell, his daughter is the ambassador for the Golden Globes, though. So I guess Idris won again. And again, Idris has got Luther coming up New Year's Day, at least in the UK. So he'll probably get in for 2019 for Best Mini-Series. Maybe.
That's probably all we really have to say about Foreign, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was, I know there's a lot of surprise about Cold War not being in Foreign. Apparently it's one that's like really prominent. Like the three prominent ones up to this point have been Roma, Shoplifters, Cold War. It's missing. But the Globes have always been really weird about what they put in Foreign. So I don't think that.
I think Girl is in there though, because when I hovered over it on the wiki to copy the info, it's supposed to be sort of about like a trans person. So, you know, given the inclusivity stuff is one of the big things that the industry's trying to jump on at the minute, that's probably why it's in there to some extent. Whether that means it's going to be likely for the Oscars, I don't know, because it's always the situation with the BAFTAs when, you know, the films are always a year out of date. Well, nearly all the time they're nearly a few years out of date.
Of course,
with Roma and Shoplifters, they'll actually be on a par.
Of course, not to say like you should only cover a certain subject matter once and then that's it. But I mean, Foreign did pretty much cover that with A Fantastic Woman last year. But you know, depending on the quality itself, whatever.
Now we actually got to click on the thing to see if I can find out a little bit more about it.
Animated.
True story of a Belgian transgender person who meanwhile has become a successful professional dancer at modern dance theatre. Wow, that does sound a bit too similar to Fantastic Woman. Maybe. With animated, I guess it wasn't that much of a surprise.
Nope.
Because it's nearly always 4 big films and another one. And considering it's Mirai from Studio Chizu, the same people that did the very well acclaimed Wolf Children and Boy and the Beast.
Yeah, and they're doing like, I don't know how it is as far as like a wide release, but it's been doing like Fathom event screenings like throughout this week. I don't know if that's what helped it get in here or not, but
I'm sure it didn't hurt.
Allegedly, it came out here last month. Well, not anywhere around near me. Damn it.
But then there's the question of when it comes to the big nominations for animated. Since we learned last year, are we assuming the voting is going to be the same way it was, where they changed the voting at the last minute, and that's why we got stuff like The Boss Baby and Ferdinand instead of some of the foreign ones that probably would have gotten in any other year?
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah,
looking at the list of the 25, I'd say half of them are big, and then out of the other half, a quarter of them are small, and then the other quarter is what the hell is this? So probably 3-1-1 from those separate categories, more than likely.
I'm thinking right now that we have, I can't say like a solidified 4, but it seems that these seems to be the 4 that keeps jumping out. And there's just going to be a surprise for the 5th one.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking this, but I almost sort of feel like, I mean, it's a different scenario because it's a completely different type of animation, and there was the whole supposedly because of the style of animation or whatever. But are you getting somewhat Lego Movie vibes from Spider-Man?
I could see that.
It's something that'll do good for a long time and then like get snubbed at the last minute.
It might be.
Yeah, like I'm not saying like that's what I'm absolutely thinking, but I just every time I look at it here, I feel like it's a total possibility.
I mean, there's a lot of options of what it could possibly be, but I mean, I think those are pretty good. I mean, so Smurfy Boy says, could we see Disney Pixar fatigue this year? I mean, it's possible. It's thanks G Kids who's just distributing the film for the U.S. Says Bry Guy, and so that could happen with the Grinch and Smallfoot.
Smallfoot, I'm surprised isn't in there because of its blatant political text in its script. That being said, I don't know what to drop out because I saw Ralph Breaks the Internet today, and to be honest, just for the bloody post-credit scenes alone, that literally, thankfully, everybody else had left the auditorium. So when the thing happened, I laughed my fucking ass off. And then I'm hopefully seeing Spider-Man Sunday. So
I want to see movies. I just can't.
From everything I've heard, that good.
Yeah, because we mentioned this in the video a couple of days ago, but what he was saying about potential Disney Pixar fatigue, I do really think that like people seem to be jumping to Incredibles 2 for the obvious winner here, but I really don't think that's the case at all.
I want to see Isle of Dogs win.
If we're going on Metacritic, it's going to be Spider-Man. I want it to be Isle of Dogs.
I'd like to see it win at least one big award.
Then it means every animated film that Wes Anderson does wins a major award of some sort.
I'm good with that.
I want that trend to continue, damn it.
Same.
All right, do we go to screenplay?
Yeah, this is an interesting lineup.
The combined list, obviously, because they bung them all together, leaves us with Roma, Green Book, Favorite, If Beale Street Could Talk, and Vice.
I got a little discouraged here when I saw that Black Klansman wasn't here, but then the way they treated it, the rest of the nominations, it's almost weird that it's not here.
I mean, they could have bumped some. They could have like spread the wealth, and that's the reason why it's not here.
Like, if Beale Street could talk, it's kind of surprising to me that it's here. I guess mainly because they snubbed Jenkins. Yet Peter Farrelly's in there. So they obviously really love Green Book that much.
Yeah, so and on that as well, if you look at the split, you've got 3 comedy musical to 2 drama. I guess Roma would be considered drama.
It's really weird how many huge players are in musical or comedy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see, the funny thing was we were talking about how it's weird that they put their foot down and said A Star Is Born and Bohemian Rhapsody are dramas, not musicals. Yet didn't Adam McKay come out and flat out say Vice is a drama? Yet they put it in comedy.
Yeah, recut that trailer if that's going to be the case.
I swear, Mary Poppins should have just gone, we should be in neither category. We are a horror film. And people were just going, yeah.
Fry Guy says some people are going to be annoyed to have another Disney Pixar season. I think that's going to be where Isle of Dogs is going to start getting a resurgence.
Let's be honest, you're going to be even more annoying next year when you got Toy Story 4. And Frozen 2.
Oh, boy. Speaking of Isle of Dogs, even though I don't know if it's going to win, but interestingly enough, I'm predicting Isle of Dogs for visual until the short list comes up. Interesting. I buy it.
Yeah, because they did just go for Kubo a couple of years ago. So.
Okay. I'm looking at the VFX. We actually had the VFX shortlist that came out Monday.
Okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Aquaman. How people haven't seen
it. I think it's more of a long list. The short list will be when they cut it down to 10.
Isle of Dogs is in there anyway.
They haven't cut it down to 10 already, have they?
Paddington 2's in there. Fuck everything. Yeah, that's all that matters.
Okay. Move on to Best Director. This is a surprise. They really went nuts for Green Book.
Yeah, I know he's been mentioned quite a few times, and I know people are really talking about Green Book being a big deal, but I'm just going to say something now. Even though this might give people ideas going forward, I really, truly, with every fiber of my being, believe that Peter Farrelly is going no farther than this. I'd be like absolutely shocked if he did.
If he gets in DGA, I think he's got a shot, but I don't see that happening.
Especially since the Academy has kind of been a bit underrated lately in regards to how creative they can go with director and how much they have recently.
True.
Like dropping McDonough last year for Paul Thomas Anderson and the whole Bennett Miller thing.
Yeah.
And like Lenny Abrahamson, there's always like a surprise in director. So
there's always one that gets in from out of nowhere.
Yeah, so somebody is like not as prominent as the others as Farrelly. I just really don't see that happening at all, especially with the whole Schrader thing I'm on right now.
To be honest, although it's probably going to get a lot of nominations, I would not be surprised if the weird left field one, even though it's going to be in all the other categories, was Yorgos Lanthimos for the favorite. That could easily take the place of Peter Farrelly.
I think in any other year, Lanthimos would be the weird choice, but I think by the time we actually get to the nomination, he's going to be like obvious. Because I would say he's definitely probably in for DGA.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You know who I'm actually, after seeing the turnout, you know who I'm surprised is not on here for the Globes? Rob Marshall.
Yeah.
That at least here, that would have been totally realistic.
Well, this time they decided to go with 2 comedy films.
Is anybody else a little surprised they didn't go ahead and put Black Klansman in comedy?
Well, I mean, you know, if Bohemian Rhapsody and Star Is Born can be seen as, you know, drama rather than comedy, films like The Favorite and Vice, which very sort of weird stuff that could easily be interpreted as drama more than comedy.
I would probably say Green Book also. I mean, I keep hearing that Green Book is like really funny, but I mean, still, given the subject matter, it's just sort of weird to see it there.
And again, you know, is the old man and the gun too gentle of a comedy to be a comedy?
You know, as much as I've been championing it throughout this season, I don't really know much of anything about the old man and the gun except Redford, Casey Affleck, and Larry directing it. That's pretty much all I know.
Right Guy says, bunch of animated sequels for 2019. Disney's big year in the box office. Speaking of Paddington 2, I've seen articles that have got nothing here. Do you think Damien Chazelle was peaked early? No, Smurfy boy, I don't. I think people just didn't take to First Man, apparently.
Still, the whole First Man thing, I'm sticking with what I said the other day, and like we'll see what the guilds say about First Man, I think, before we do anything.
I'm not jumping to any conclusions yet until I absolutely have to.
Even though the thing did come true that somebody mentioned about Claire Foy's in this more than Gosling is, apparently the Globes agree with it.
What should be the opposite way for the Oscars?
That'd be weird.
And Bry Guy says that's why I'm going with Rob Marshall. So we move from director. Speaking of, let's go into supporting actress, shall we?
Oh, wait, you didn't let me celebrate that Spike Lee's in here.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Celebrating that Spike Lee's in here.
A Spike Lee joint is officially in the Globes.
Yes.
For the first time in quite a while, surely.
It is funny that Green Book's getting all these comparisons to Driving Miss Daisy. And the big controversy in 1989 was that Do the Right Thing was more or less snubbed in the year Driving Miss Daisy won. So now it's like he's fighting Driving Miss Daisy all over again.
Nice. That's a fair point. I mean, supporting actress is not really a shock.
I do think in the long run, obviously we're not to actress yet, but bringing up the fact that Kidman is not here for Boy Erased.
Right.
I really do just feel like anything she gets for Destroyer is just going to add up to her getting in for Boy Erased in supporting.
Also worth noting that Regina King's up for the double because she's up for Best Supporting Actress in the TVs for I can't even remember.
7 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody mentioned that she's fighting Amy Adams both times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, supporting
then
actress.
The problem is that do they all have the issue of going up against the two girls from The Favorite?
Yeah, I'm sure people will probably try to play up the whole two actresses cancel each other out thing, but really just looking at past winners, that doesn't happen. Like that's not, yeah, but I mean, not to say that I think Stone and Vice either will like win, but like I could see Stone winning this or something, even if I don't necessarily think that'll be.
I think Vice is more. Vice might be more the favorite.
Yeah,
her character's the one that's got it all to lose, so they're the one that's going to be the most devious.
They do. The Globes do love Amy Adams because she won for Big Eyes, didn't she?
I believe so.
And then on supporting actor front,
Sam Elliott, where are you?
Yeah, they just went with Rock. They went with the other Sam instead. Chalamet making it in, I'd say, is a bit of a surprise. And then the pleasant surprise, Adam Driver getting in for Black Klansman.
Hell yeah.
They really took to it, and I think that's gonna. I don't think it's walking away empty-handed at the Globes for sure.
It does stick out that Chalamet looks like the only thing Beautiful Boy is gonna do, but for some reason I just don't really have any doubt about him. I'm really not quite on this Rockwell thing yet, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Would Rockwell be? I mean, let's not say that he gets through the entire streak like he did last year, but would that be sort of like the first time somebody's gone 2 years in a row in the supporting categories? Because obviously it's happened in the lead. I can't think of anybody that's won it 2 straight years in a row for 2 different roles.
You mean specifically at the Globes?
Well, sort of at any of the awards.
Jason Robards did it in the 70s.
Okay. I stand corrected.
That may be the only example I can think of. But
yeah. It very rarely happens. So, the one that's getting a lot of the buzz, though, is Richard E. Grant's performance. Because it's sort of akin to sort of the Sylvester Stallone sort of deal. In that the performance is good in what may be considered a decent film. Although, you know, Creed did get a lot of love. I guess the best equivalent would probably be, I don't know, like with last year with Denzel getting in for Roman J. Israel. Admittedly, he didn't win. But
I've heard nothing but like amazing things about Can You Ever Forgive Me? One complaint I have been hearing since these were released was some people are getting pissed off because they think it's really boring that Rockwell and Ali are here. And it's like, oh, how exciting. 2 people prominent in the supporting actor category are the last 2 people to win the category. Obviously, there's a lot of people saying that Ali could, like, win again. Like, there's, like, some people that, like, totally believe that without any doubt, which is probably jumping the gun, but it probably also helps that I hear he's pretty much leading. That's usually somebody could probably also give the leading argument to Driver, honestly. I'd say he's in it just as much as Washington is.
We'll get to that later. That's another strange one we'll get to in a little bit.
So now we get to the bit when AJ just smiles.
Actress.
Musical or comedy?
Yes.
Hey, I'm a little pissed, though.
Oh.
Because my first thought was, oh, it's going to be so amazing to see her on that stage again. And it's going to be like, oh, she's like a shoo-in in this category. There is no question about it. Had no idea they were putting The Favorite in comedy, so I don't think that's going to happen now.
Olivia Colman's one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You can't go with her, but I can.
I know I'm the one that's been throwing all the doubt at this movie, but even so, in retrospect, I'm a little surprised Elsie Fisher is the only 8th grade nomination.
And then also, considering from what I've heard, it was one of the weakest performances out of the entire film. Constant Wu getting in for Crazy Rich Asians. No Henry Golding, no Michelle Yeoh, no Awkwafina or anything like that, which were widely sort of believed by quite a lot of people to be the better performances out of a lot of them. Yet somehow Constance Wu is the only one that hasn't really got any major gig in terms of acting after it. Yet everybody else has.
Yeah,
Perhaps you just need to do SNL like Awkwafina.
Well, given that we determined long ago that Crazy Rich Asians was practically made to be a Globes movie.
Yeah.
It is surprising in retrospect they go for Claire Foy over Michelle Yeoh. Like that seems like one of those cases where if she was ever going to get in anywhere, it would have been here in that slot. But of course, Claire Foy's also a bit of an it girl right now, so that probably helps her because she really doesn't do jack shit in First Man.
Smurfy Boy says they could give King supporting actress and Amy Adams the Globe for Sharp Objects. Double A Vlog says King has never won a Golden Globe either. And Smurfy Boy says the Globes owe Ali a win for not giving him supporting actor for Moonlight. Double A Vlog says I hope Sam Elliott pulls an Alan Arkin, misses the Globe, and takes the Oscar.
Yeah, because Arkin, the only thing Arkin had going into the Oscars, I think, was a BAFTA win.
Yep.
I don't know how realistic that is for Sam Elliott, but that's not out of the question.
No.
Like,
not
not out of the question, I mean.
I would not be surprised. I'd say SAG is more likely to give it to Elliot.
I could see Elliot getting in SAG for sure. It's interesting. Where is it? It's interesting with Vice getting the most nominations here, considering that even though it focuses on Cheney, Rockwell getting nominated playing President Bush the same day his father was laid to rest.
Yeah, that is a little weird.
Right guy says screwed and close. Yeah. Glenn Close did not make it in.
Yes.
Who are we talking about?
I read the wrong thing here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brad guy. I really think
Spoilers, the wife is not a comedy or a musical.
I don't know. I've never seen the movie. You're probably not going to. I really think Blunt is an upset this year, mainly with the passion of Julie Andrews winning for the original, like with Marlon Brando and De Niro for Godfather and Godfather Part 2.
I honestly never thought of that comparison.
Thank you, Brad guy.
I mean, let's be honest. Emily Blunt this year has got 2 films which could have multi-million-dollar sequels in 2 or 3 years' time if they wanted to. In both Mary Poppins, Electric Boogaloo, and Quiet Place.
Right.
There's enough that you could build more off those. So I think she's probably sorted enough anyway. Also, people still haven't auto-corrected her Wikipedia page to not mention the Angelina ballerina shit. What is that about? I have to do it myself.
Speaking of what's that about, let's go into actor. It's a weird list of 5.
Well, you know, we've got to have an EGOT potential somewhere in it.
I love the roller coaster that Stan and Ollie has been on, where it's like, hey, John C. Reilly's getting all the praise. Now Steve Coogan's getting all the praise. Now it's John C. Reilly that gets the Globe nomination.
Don't be surprised if Coogan gets the BAFTA nomination. Then it's like
That's more likely.
That is so like that so could absolutely happen. Like it's not even funny.
And of course, we have AJ's boy Robert Redford getting in.
Yeah, I had no idea till Ashley mentioned it the other day that it was a comedy.
Oh wow!
It was gentle enough to be a comedy, but you know, at this rate, as I say, you know, it could be a bloody snuff film if we're going by all these different classifications about what it is and what it isn't.
I think, to be quite honest, I think we're going at it's Vigo versus Bale.
Yeah.
And AJ's head has exploded.
Don't be surprised if these foreign press people go stupid and actually go Lin-Manuel Miranda.
No chance.
They want to be a part of history. They want to create the EGOT.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think Riley's got a better chance than Miranda does.
I don't know. Did you see the turnout for Miranda's movie?
Well, yeah, of course, but still.
There was like 14 people.
It's Vigo versus Bale, flat out. And I can see them going back and forth for the entire season.
It might. I'm wondering if it helps Mortensen that Bale's already got wins to his name.
It might.
Because it's like really, like there's hardly any advantage either one has because they love both movies so clearly.
Speaking of Mary Poppins Returns, Bry Guy says, screw Glenn Close from winning. I want Emily Blunt to sweep the season. It's interesting with Mary Poppins Returns getting 4 nominations, but no Meryl Streep.
Do we even know how much she... Do we even know how much she... I know it doesn't matter, but do we even know how much she's supposed to be in it?
I mean, technically speaking, she could walk from the craft services table and be on set for like 2 seconds and then give her a nomination, but that's beside the point.
Because remember, everybody got on that with when Suffragette came out, but her screen time in Suffragette is like walking out onto a balcony and then walking away.
Right.
Thank you, said,
oh, God. Bry Guy had Miranda for supporting actor for August and September. There you go.
Yeah, I was a little surprised he was in leading.
Yeah.
Well, he is second on the bill.
Well, so is
also apparently Meryl Streep's playing Mary's cousin.
You know, second on the bill. You know who else you could say that about? Adam Driver, Richard E. Grant, Timothy Chalamet, Mahershala Ali.
Nice. Smurfy Boy is torn between Bale and Vigo.
Every time I hear Vigo, all I think of is Ghostbusters. Is that
Vigo? AJ knew I was going to do it. AJ knew darn well I was going to do it. Thank you. That's got to be Kane. Anyway, quite the mixed lineup for best score. Yes, Gabriel. Agreed completely. Welcome to chat. Double A Vlog says, haha, like Suffragette. Yeah.
That just happened.
Let's get a best actress now in a drama.
Once again, really weird how much is like genuinely split up between comedy and drama.
Yeah, I mean,
from what I've heard, I get it to an extent, but it's like it's still so weird to me that the favorites in comedy that keeps throwing me off. Looking at this group and seeing Coleman not in it.
Is Rossman like a surprise nomination for you guys?
Considering the story of the woman that got killed by what happened, no.
Well, there's usually there. It's kind of pretty much any person who was going to be there probably wouldn't be a surprise because the Globes always seem to like. Not that Pike may or may not be great in this or anything, but there's always that. It always feels like the Globes run out of slots and struggle to fill them.
Right.
All back when last year when Helen Mirren got in for The Leisure Seeker, but that movie didn't actually come out till this year.
I guess from this point we can now address the big thing. Nobody fucking likes widows, apparently.
I don't think they have to worry about anything.
I mean, I'm not going to gloat about how much I call that or anything, but the other thing I was going to bring up, does anybody remember when Halle Berry did, what was it? Was it Frankie and Alice, the one where she had all the personalities? And she was nominated at the 2010 Golden Globes, and that movie came out in like 2014.
Oh, guess what came out? Sorry, guess what film's coming out today, AJ? Over here.
What's that?
Tulip Fever.
The
film from 15 months ago.
It's an awfully uneventful movie to make you
finished filming in 2014. And apparently, people in my local area are going to see it because, quote, Judi Dench is in it. And they'll love it just because Judi Dench is in it, even if the film is shit, which it is.
Yeah, because I remember briefly reviewing it, but I forgot that was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, with this Nicole Kidman getting in here for Destroyer, is that just filling in the gaps? Or is this going to be more likely for her to have a chance of getting a nomination than supporting?
Yeah, I still feel like pretty much anything Kidman gets for Destroyer will just build her up more for Boy Erased, is what I'm sticking to. Sort of like with when Winslet had Revolutionary Road backing her up when The Reader was out. Except it's a reverse category placement.
Yeah, one movie is good, one movie is overrated. Speaking of Winslet, Double A Vlog says, remember Kate Winslet was nominated for Labor Day in drama.
Well, I can't laugh at that because I don't suppose you remember that year how devoted I was to the idea that Labor Day was going to be a big deal.
I do remember that greatly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Nothing is as bad as what happened with me in American Hustle, though.
I don't know. That Labor Day thing's pretty bad.
Speaking of missing, no Yalitza here or Toni Collette.
Yalitza's not really surprising because it's the Globes. I mean, if you look at the nominees, they don't really go for that type of like an actress that's that off the radar.
True. Well, Mr. Top Hat, welcome.
If we're talking about off the radar, John David Washington making it in for Black Klansman.
We're not done yet.
We were done. We finished talking about actress, hadn't we?
No, we haven't. I have comments in chat. Mr. Top Hat says Kidman transformed herself for Destroyer. I think it's well deserved. She said, he goes, cough, McCarthy for spy, cough. I will not dignify that with a response. Smurfy Boy says, I don't see SAG, Critics' Choice, and BAFTA going for Lady Gaga. I think you're wrong. I think you're dead wrong.
Yeah, I think.
Critics' Choice could easily be. SAG, the only one I would question is BAFTA, because there's always at least one where let's just go for the British one. But it's hard to work out yet what's in the running for that.
Right.
They might go more towards maybe Widows because it's a British film.
Can this please get Viola Davis into the run? I never thought I'd say that, but please, SAG, get Viola Davis back into this race.
It happened again.
What do you mean?
Talking about, because we're still on actress, and you were talking about BAFTA going for the British, and my first thought was, oh wait, actress, that's finally her chance. But oh wait, she'll just get foiled by Coleman again.
Bry Guy was wondering if A Star Is Born is going to get in for ensemble.
Oh, it's SAG?
Yeah.
When Slumdog wins ensemble, and
that's a fair point.
That is and A Star Is Born may not have like a shitload of major prominent characters, but I mean, let us not forget, even though it's still TV, don't forget Key and Peele. For Key and Peele got a SAG nomination for ensemble once.
I think SAG is gonna save Widows, Murphy Boy.
Why couldn't we get Key and Peele to host the Oscars?
That'd be better. Can we I got a better idea. Come on, I can just go through the Rolodex of In Living Color former cast members, and it's a better idea than Kevin Hart.
No, you could imagine the bit at the start when it's Key and Peele as the what they call them, the car guys, the
valets,
yes. Doing the dog Black Klansman, man. Oh yeah.
I'm also starting to think, in this scenario, would Jordan Peele be the first Oscar host to have won an Oscar since David Niven?
Wow.
Interesting company.
And yes, Bry Guy, I'll give you that. At least it's not Tiffany Haddish.
I
But
bet she's
still.
doing the nominations announcements though.
Now she's hosting the Spirit Awards in the tent.
Oh. We don't know who's doing the Critics' Choice yet. I just think she could easily just do the nominations at the Oscars though, like last year.
Keep her away. So, petition to get Paddington Brown to host. Top Hat, I think all of us would like that. I want David Allen Greer to host, actually.
Keep in mind, in an alternate reality, thanks to very English scandal, whatever bloody Hugh Grant's character was in Paddington 2 is fucking that bear.
Which, by the way, she will be the main antagonist in the Lego Movie 2 based on the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. I had hopes for that movie, too.
Then again, Chris Pratt's in it twice. So, you know.
Best actor in a motion picture drama.
All right, so I know some people were freaking out about the absence of Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
I am so not convinced that matters here. Because here's how I'm feeling about First Reformed, which is obviously totally absent here. Remember how I said I thought Schrader was going to do like a Bennett Miller thing?
Right.
Well, keep in mind that Bennett Miller didn't have anything behind him.
True.
And when you talk about Hawke being absent here, I don't think the screenplay matters either, because obviously with the combined category, things were going to get left out. Like even Black Klansman's not in the screenplay here.
True.
In the case of First Reformed, and specifically Hawke, there's two things that could happen. Either Hawke's going to get in at SAG, and that'll be it. That'll solidify him. Or honestly, I truly believe that Hawke can get in with nothing.
He could.
Like if he misses everything, I'm still going to be probably predicting him. So
the one I was was surprised that Lucas Hedges sort of made it in.
I'm not.
And then at the same time, Willem Dafoe. I really didn't think that was going to have enough traction, but apparently it did, at least in terms of the Hollywood Foreign Press and all that.
I don't think Dafoe's going anywhere further.
Yeah, I tend to. I've said that about a few things already.
Then
I don't think I'm gonna like predict Dafoe, but I don't think this is easily dismissed either that he's here. Like this like puts him on the map. It's just a matter of how far he can go from here. Like if he gets in at SAG, he's a threat to get in for sure.
I can see that.
He'll be really interesting to watch through this season, and by that I mean the next few days or so before SAG comes out.
Trophy Boys as my SAG Ensemble nominees are Black Panther, Green Book, The Favorite, Widows, and If Beale Street Could Talk. Top Hat says this boosts Defoe's chances, but it may not be enough. And Double A Vlog says, so happy for Lucas Hedges, but I think his run ends here. We're talking Lucas Hedges up huge about him getting in and like guaranteeing a spot. And now it's kind of like a lot of people are like completely like discounting him and taking him out of the running. He's not out of the running either.
Well, I'll admit that the early reviews were very sort of negative on the thing. But that seems to have really been sort of dampened down by a lot more positive reviews right now. So I'd say it's likely, but not a definitely.
Washington getting in proves that they love Black Klansman.
But you know what's interesting about Lucas Hedges though is I was predicting him before, and I don't think I'm gonna go back to that. But I'm having flashbacks of when he got in for Manchester by the Sea.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, he's such a possibility, and it's like, yeah, but probably not. And then he gets like one nomination here, and it's like, yeah, but I'm still not feeling it. And it's like, if he goes through this all over again. But obviously, being in leading, he's got a bit more of a competition that he did that season. Because this is confusing to me. What I've been saying all season is that actress is pretty barren. And there's like the 5 and then maybe a couple hanging out. And there's a bunch of people trying to get into actor. Apparently, everyone else is saying the exact opposite. Most people are saying that actor is barren and actress is what everybody's fighting for. I have no idea where people are possibly getting that.
No.
Because actor potential nominees keep popping up. So
accurate. Murphy Boy says, can Washington be this year's Daniel Kaluuya?
Or better yet, can Washington be what his dad was last year?
Win the Lifetime Achievement
It's
Award?
more like this year's Denzel Washington.
He wins the Lifetime Achievement Award in his like first major role.
They love Ballers. They love Ballers that much.
Oh my god. Brian Guy says the only 2 actors that still could be in this that no one's seen so far are Eastwood and Carell.
It's a shame. It's a shame that Old Man and the Gun is in the comedy category, because then we could have literally said, did they get Klansman character confused with the Old Man and the Gun character? Because they're nearly the same, except the other ones are like slightly more saying the M word.
Like, I want to touch that. Ashley, one thing AJ was saying last time and said a couple days ago was talking about the mule being more like Gran Torino. And I get the vibe completely. I think Welcome to Marwin might be something that people are just, they're either going to love it or they're just going to dismiss it like it's nothing. I honestly thought it was going to get in here, at least somewhere.
Well, to bring the conversation back to Denzel, isn't I could be mistaken. Did Zemeckis do Welcome to Marwin? I'm thinking he did.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. Yes.
So it's like Zemeckis used to kind of be this sort of, if he's there, then there's a definite possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But like apart from Flight, that hasn't been the case for a long time, I don't think. And
no, it hasn't.
The only thing, no, Flight got that screenplay nomination from out of nowhere, so I don't know what
was surprised about.
Then again, my issue is, could Welcome to Marwin be classified as Best Animated Feature?
I mean, that's pushing it, but I see where you're coming from.
Well, if Scanner Darkly could be considered animated.
Yeah, that's also a point.
That's the issue. It's like so many. I don't think it's actually submitted in the animated category anyway.
I mean, what is it like motion capture or what?
Yep, it is. That's exactly what Mr. Top Hat just said.
It's the what the fucking hell? Polar Express. It's the Polar Express technology.
But there's live action apparently in it as well.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of column A, a little column B.
Well, don't they could probably consider? I mean, if you look at what Disney's remakes say, don't they basically consider live action, the motion capture live action, because it's like actual people?
Probably.
Because when you look at like the Jungle Book and Lion King remakes, it's like they keep calling them the live action remakes, despite the fact that they're motion capture.
Right. Top Hat says an animated film has to be 75% at least animated to qualify.
That still fucking gets me that Lego Movie got snubbed that year.
Yeah, because I think they've also got weird rules or something. Because didn't they say something wrong with the Lego Movie? Was something about like any sort of puppetry disqualifies you or something? Because I was confused about that, but Anomalisa getting in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also vague.
All the Wallace and Gromit stuff's technically puppetry. Stop motion is puppetry. So that means Isle of Dogs is puppetry.
Yeah, that's where so the rules like blur. I have no idea what's what. That publisher thing I've heard could have been bullshit. But I remember hearing it around the time the Lego movie got snubbed. They were using it as like an excuse or something.
So we've got Best Picture, Musical, or Comedy. This is not a surprising list at all. Not really.
No, Crazy Rich Asians making it in because it's the popular one. The Favorite because it's the favorite. Green Book because it's the favorite, but not the favorite in name. Mary Poppins Returns because of all the acclaim that's getting. And Vice. It's weird that Crazy Rich Asians is the odd one out here. It's a pretty strong list, though, we'll say. Because normally there's always one in the musical or comedy that you're like, why the shit is that in there? At least with Crazy Rich Asians, it's sort of a case of, well, it did actually do quite a lot for the box office, so.
It's basically down. It's basically down to that Bale Mortensen fight again, where it's like no one really has an advantage over the other.
True.
But it could also realistically be the favorite. Musical or comedy is never this much of a battle.
No.
Let us remember, almost 10 years ago, The Hangover won this. Not only that, The Hangover won it with no other nominations.
No comment.
Of course, wins like that here sort of seem to be a thing of the past now, so
thankfully,
I don't think you're going to have to worry about something like that again.
Mr. Top Hat wants to know if that is that Curse of the Were-Rabbit I see behind you, Ashley.
There, yeah.
Right. Right Guy says, which is interesting.
Then again, I've also got Brick and let the right one in.
Oh, nice. Wall-E had a little bit live action in it, but that could be because the category was still new at the time. Not a lot of animated films were released at that time. Bry Guy says no Paddington 2. MF, that's for you, Ashley. Bry Guy says I also released The Death of Stalin could have got an act. Realized The Death of Stalin could have got an acting nomination here. Yeah, could have.
Actually, that should be the best animated film. That's the game on PS2. Completely forgot that game existed. There you go.
So, yeah, it's going to be a bloodbath for musical or comedy at the Globes.
Yeah, because picture drama.
Oh boy!
I mean, I don't really think there's much of a competition here.
You might be surprised.
Yeah, you've got two musical comedies, and
Accurate.
It's a strong list of 4 and Bohemian Rhapsody. Because I just feel as a film, if it wasn't for the last 20 minutes, that film would not be as well received as it is.
It's not well received, though.
No, I'm saying in terms of fan reception as well. You know, the fact that in its 6th, 7th weekend, it still took £1 million at the box office over here is pretty ridiculous. Nothing's had that sort of craze so far or whatever.
I mean, this seems...
You know, Black Klansman getting in, Black Panther getting recognized here, which probably boosts that towards possibly getting in the up to 10 for the Oscars. If Beale Street Could Talk and A Star Is Born. It says a lot how supposedly strong they are, at least in the foreign press's eyes, that Bohemian Rhapsody and Star Is Born get in here in the wrong category.
I mean, I'm at the point now. I mean, the way that things go with the Globes versus what happens with the Oscars, Just give it to Panther and just done the party on it. Right good.
Yeah, well, the thing about that is that what I was just talking about, where they gave it to The Hangover, but I thought that them giving wins like that is a thing of the past. If that wasn't a thing of the past, that actually probably could happen.
Yeah.
But, I mean, does anybody think A Star Is Born is not taking this?
I mean, there's really the only competition I can really see, like feasible competition, is Black Klansman.
That would be amazing.
It's the two.
But
For me, it's the two films with black in the title.
If there's one thing that Black Klansman has over A Star Is Born, it would be that they loved Black Klansman enough to go for Washington, but they didn't go for as much for A Star Is Born to not put Elliot in.
Yep.
Surely the secret weapon, though, is Topher Grace.
Oh, of course.
Because I noticed he's in... I just saw some trailer for some religious film that randomly had Topher Grace in it. And I was just like, what's he doing in this? One where the kid falls in the ice.
God.
Yeah. But don't forget, Topher Grace had 2 movies at Cannes this year. Because Black Klansman was there, and the
and I completely forget that he was in American Ultra.
But he was also in that one at Cannes that the dude that made It Follows did with Andrew Garfield.
Oh wow!
It seems to have fallen off the face of the earth.
I guess nobody followed him. Let's see what it is.
Triple A vlog. I always say Triple A. I don't know why. I'm used to saying Triple A. Double A vlog says if it was any other year and if it wasn't this stuff, I'd see a nomination for Love, Simon.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not here. Honestly.
So is that?
Do me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Go to chat real quick because my computer is giving me issues.
Oh.
And follow the rest of the
Go to the
messages that have been posted on chat.
Let's find it. Let's mute the stream. Let's let the chat load up. Hopefully it's going to work. Trying to see, yeah. Also, yeah, Death of Stalin could have got an acting nomination. Here's a Bride guy. I think that's gone relatively under the radar.
Mm.
And obviously, it had all its push and anything that it was going to get from BAFTA last year. So, Mr. Top Hat, best drama's looking pretty standard. And here comes Bohemian Rhapsody with a steel chair. Oh my God. I like the crossover stuff there. Bohemian Rhapsody for picture drama was one of my unexpected nominations here, along with Quiet Place for score. Why is Bohemian Rhapsody in this category? Says Smurfy Boy. Huh? Star is Born Miss Screenplay. I guess they don't want to give Bradley Cooper too much credit.
Well, I heard
otherwise it'll be the Bradley Coopers, not the Globes.
I keep hearing the argument for that is the fact that that's like the 3rd or 4th adaptation, but I don't really see how that's going to be an issue, especially in a category that's still got an open slot in it.
Roy also saying, how well do you think the hosts will do? 2 people is always risky, and when it's people that have unknown qualities of chemistry, like Sandra Oh and Andy Samberg, it's always sort of could be a garbage truck. It's on fire and is burning dramatically.
I think on that note, we might be finished.
Applause, please. Applause.
I can't not mention this first. Mr. Top Hat says best drama is looking pretty standard, and here comes Bohemian Rhapsody with a steel chair.
I said that.
Well, first off, this is what happens. Number one, when you find a stranger in the Alps, this is what happens when the thing glitches on me, and then I can't hear what people are saying, so I have to come back.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Not only did Ashley say it, he screamed it.
My God.
It's not my fault that I couldn't hear anything because decided I wanted to glitch out at the time.
John David Washington's got a family, damn it.
Oh my God.
Oh shit. It's Denzel with the steel chair that's beating him. Oh my God, he's sick of his son taking all the roles that he could have. Oh my God.
Oh, wait a minute. Are we back to that fictitious battle royal we always have every year for supporting actor or actor? It never fails. We always bring it up every year, too. I think it's our show.
I don't think we're going to be doing reactions to the SAGs, are we?
No. Not the guilds. I mean, technically speaking, we can do it for like the. We'll just do it when we actually get our predictions for it. So that's probably going to be your show.
Holy shit. It just occurred. I've been trying to think of this for like half this video, and it just occurred to me.
What's that?
When somebody said that they could give it to Ali because they didn't give it to him for Moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to remember who won. It was Aaron Taylor-Johnson for Nocturnal Animals.
Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, that definitely puts Ali in a good place. I know that's like an hour ago, but it just occurred to me.
It happens.
So, at least in terms of the next few weeks, Sunday we're getting the LA Film Critics Association announcements coming, which is one of the big film critics ones. The nominations announced for the Critics' Choice on Monday, and then the SAGs announced next Wednesday, the 12th. And then the European Film Awards are happening next Saturday. I don't know whether I'm trying to think. I guess you might get some of the European foreign films that could get a chance in the Oscars list and whatever. Making it in there. And December 17th is where we get the short lists of 9 of the sort of tech categories for the Oscars as well.
And we'll be doing our final big 8 predictions at the end of this month. And then next month, we'll be doing our predictions of every single category in the Academy Awards. As we roll
doing that, are we doing that 2 weeks after our picks then? Because the Oscar nominations get announced January 22nd. So the weekend of the PGAs. Or roughly around then anyway. Yeah, wow. January's going to be fucked for us. So it's Golden Globes, and the week after the Critics' Choice, and the week after PGA, then the week after SAG.
Plus, we've got Wrestle Kingdom and the Royal Rumble.
And then the week after that is the Annies, the DGAs. There's the ACEs and the ADGs, and then BAFTAs are on the 10th, WGA on the 17th, and then 24th for the Oscars, obviously with the Spirits on the 23rd. Practically every weekend from January. Set your watches, bitches.
It's going to be tough because I may or may not be partying down for a couple months. So I guess we'll see what happens with that as well. Bry Guy asked, we're anticipating fighting with my family.
Yeah, if it ever comes out.
Trailer looks cool. I'm not happy about the fact that Vince Vaughn is not Jake the Snake Roberts. Thanks, guys. Getting my hopes up.
It's been ready for about 6 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, 6 months, I should say, not 6 years.
Top Hat says ACE, AGE, ABCD, EFG. Accurate. That's your show. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Well, we had a lot of people in chat tonight. Thank you for sticking up with us. Almost midnight here on the East Coast. On a random Thursday night, too.
I think the ABCDEFG was made up there by Mr. Top Hat in the comments.
Yep. Yes, another news water is wet, and everyone knows the rest of that, too. So that's going to be your show. Exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we'll be back at it again at the end of this month with our Academy Awards predictions of the big 8 categories. And then next month, we'll do our predictions for every category of the Oscars. We'll be doing this for the award season. And we're going to continue our challenge, as always, 3 of us battling to the death to determine who is the best predictor of the award season. So that's going to be coming your way.
Props to Annapurna Pictures, by the way, as well, for getting, along with Fox Searchlight, the most nominations for distributor.
Okay. So, Ash, where we can find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at Ash is my name UK.
Like it was mentioned the other night, if you want to talk to AJ, do so. Live chat. It's the best way to get any information to him. Or you can leave a comment under this video or any of the other videos we have or podcasts that we're doing. Speaking Bluntly should be up in a few minutes. Actually, should be up shortly after midnight. So that's coming up your way. Got new AJ's movie reviews coming out. We got new verses coming out. More Speaking Bluntly. And more wrestling content coming in the near future as well. The Monday Wrestling Popcast should be returning on Monday night, maybe. We'll see. And of course, we're rolling into next week, which is Final Battle and TLC, which I really hate the fact that I have to miss Ring of Honor. And there's that other thing on Sunday I don't care about. So Ashley will be covering those for the network as well. So if you so choose, follow me on Twitter at Siro and Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network, and check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network. So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, whether live or in archive. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Oh, if ever fallen in love with someone you shouldn't have fallen in love with. Rip Pete Shelley.